Hello everyone, in this video we'll be studying about the reproduction in plants. The reproduction in plants takes place sexually and asexually, but now we'll be studying about the sexual reproduction in plants. So let's have a brief look on the sexual reproduction in plants. The sexual reproduction involves the fusion of the male and the female gamete for the fertilization and the formation of the zygote and the development of the embryo. In plants, flower is a specialized structure in which the reproduction takes place. The flower contains the reproductive whorl, which consists of the androecium and the gynoecium. In sexual reproduction, one is the male reproductive system and other is the female reproductive system. First, we will study the male reproductive system. Male reproductive system consists of androecium. Its individual members are called as stamen. Stamen has anther. Anther has 4 microsporangium, also known as pollen sac, locule or pollen chambers. Since there are 4 microsporangium, anther is also called as tetrasporangiate. Microsporangium has many microspore mother cells, also known as pollen mother cells, which are in diploid conditions. They undergo mitosis as well as meiosis. When they undergo mitosis, same MMCs will be formed, that is in 2N conditions, diploid condition. When they undergo meiosis, 4 microspore mother cells will be formed, also known as pollen grains or male gametes. 4 male gametes are formed, which one undergoes 2 times mitosis to give 2 male gametes. Total 8 male gametes are formed. Now we'll study the female reproductive system. Female reproductive system consists of gynoecium. Its individual members are called as carpel or pistil. Gynoecium has ovule, also known as integumented megasporangium, also known as integumented nucellus. It has megasporangium nucellus. Megasporangium nucellus has many megaspore mother cells. Megaspore mother cells undergoes mitosis and meiosis. When they undergo mitosis, same megaspore mother cells will be formed in 2N condition. Megaspore mother cell undergoes meiosis to give 4 megaspores, among which 3 will be degenerated and 1 megaspore will undergo 3 times mitosis to give embryo sac, which contains 1 female gamete. So this is how anther looks like. It has 2 lobes and hence it is called as a bilobe structure. Anther has total 4 microsporangium and thus it is called as a tetrasporangiate. Each lobe has 2 microsporangium. So there is the outermost protective and fibrous covering around the microsporangium, which is called as theca. Since there are 2 theca, anther is called as dithecous. These 2 microsporangium will fuse during the dehiscence and microspore pollen grains inside them will be released out. So these are the layers of the anther. The outermost layer is the epidermis, which is made up of tubular cells. Then the next layer is endothecium. It is made up of radially elongated cells. Both these epidermis and endothecium have the protective nature. Then the layer is the middle layer, which is multi-layered, where the fusion of microsporangium takes place. Then the innermost layer is the tapetum. It is a layer around every microsporangium. Let's study tapetum in detail. Tapetum has 2 natures. One is the nutritive nature and other one is the secretory nature. It provides nutrition to the PMC or sporogenesis tissue. In secretory nature, it secretes sporopolanin, which is the complex non-biodegradable substance which is used to make exine. Exine is the outermost layer of the pollen tube. It is a discontinuous layer. There is a gap in between, which is called as the germ pore, from where the pollen tube comes out. Then the inner layer of the pollen grain is the intine, which is made up of cellulose and pectin. Let's come to the 2-cell stage of pollen grain. In 60% cases, the pollen grains are released from the anther in this stage. Here, there are 2 cells. One is the generative cell and other one is the vegetative cell, also known as tube cells. These are called as generative cells because they generate 2 male gametes. Here, the vegetative cells give nourishment to the generative cells and helps in formation and the growth of the pollen tube.
Hello everyone, today I am going to talk about female reproduction in plants. So let's get started. Female reproductive system in plants. The ovary contains the ovule. This is the structure of ovary. It has a placenta. The ovules are attached to the placenta via the funicle. In some ovary, the funicle may be present or absent. The ovule attached to the placenta without the help of funicle is known as sessile ovule. The ovule attached to placenta with the help of funicle is called as funiculated ovule. Let us go through the typical ovule. It has an oval-shaped nucellus or megasporangium or megaspore. Inside it we have MMC, which is megaspore mother cells that is diploid in nature. The nucellus has two layers. They are inner integument and outer integument. Let us look at this layer. Nucellus or the megaspore, it has two layers, the inner integument and the outer integument. The space between these two layers is called the micropyle. The base of the ovule is called the chalaza. From micropyle till chalaza, the part is known as main body of the ovule. From here the funicle starts. The part between the main body of the ovule and funicle is called the hilum. Types of ovule based on position. There are three types: the orthoporous ovule, hemitropous ovule, anatropous ovule. In orthoporous ovule, the micropyle, nucellus and chalaza are in a straight line, and the micropyle is in the top and the chalaza is in the bottom. Hemitropous ovule, when the orthotropous ovule is rotated to 90 degrees, we get hemitropous ovule. Anatropous ovule, when the body of the ovule is fully bent or rotated, we get anatropous ovule. In this, the chalaza is in the top and the micropyle is in the bottom. This is the anatropous ovule. It is a characteristic feature of angiosperm. This is the nucellus of anatropous ovule. This is the micropyle. Here we have the chalaza. This is outer integument and inner integument. Here we have funicle, and this is placenta. This is the anatropous ovule, which is the characteristic feature of angiosperm. In this we have the nucellus, the micropyle end is at the bottom and the chalaza is at the top. We have the outer integument, the inner integument, funicle, placenta, and this is hilum. These are the antipodes, secondary nucleus, embryo sac, synergid. These all we will see further in the development of female gamete. Nucellus has many MMC, that is megaspore mother cells, out of which only one of them near the micropylar end will survive and differentiate to undergo meiosis, and 4 megaspore haploid cells will be formed. 3 of them will degenerate and one near the chalazal end will survive, and then it will undergo mitosis 3 times. So in first mitosis 2 nucleus will be formed, during second mitosis 4 nucleus will be formed, and during third mitosis 8 nucleus will be present inside the nucellus. So out of 8 nucleus, 4 nucleus will be in the chalazal end and 4 will be in the micropylar end. Further, one nucleus from the both end will come in the center. So 3 cells in the chalazal end are called as antipodal cells, and 2 outer cells in the micropylar end are called as synergids, and the middle one is called as egg cell or female gamete. Then the 2 polar nuclei in the center will undergo nuclear fission to form diploid secondary nucleus.
Hello everyone, so let's start with double fertilization. So let's start with a recap. As you all know that a flower consists of petals, sepals, a receptacle and a stem. It also has male and female reproductive walls. The male reproductive wall is known as stamen, which consists of anther and a filament. Each anther is bilobed and each lobe has 2 microsporangium. Therefore, in total, each anther consists of 4 microsporangia. The female reproductive wall, that is the carpel or the pistil, consists of the style which connects the stigma to the ovary. The ovary consists of a funicle which connects the placenta to the ovule. The stigma is a receptive surface for pollen grains. Now let's take a look in the structure inside the ovule. A typical ovule consists of a nucellus, which is also known as microsporangium. This nucellus contains sporogenous tissues in the form of megaspore mother cells, which is also known as MMC. The nucellus is surrounded by two layers. The inner one is known as inner integument and the outer one the outer integument. The spore between the two layers around the nucellus is known as micropylar end or the micropyle, and just below the micropyle we have the chalaza, also known as the chalazae end. The hilum here is a scar which connects the funicle to the placenta and funicle to the body of the ovule. Now let's enter in the process of double fertilization. The pollen grains are present in the anther, that is the male reproductive wall. This anther bursts open and the pollen grains, when come out, are transported from the male anther to the female stigma. This takes place by the pollinating agents. The pollinating agents like animals like insects, birds and bats do this. Water and wind can also do this, and even the plant themselves do self-pollination, which occurs within a closed flower. These pollen grains are transported here by the pollinating agents in the process known as pollination. When these pollen grains are deposited on the surface of the stigma releases some secretions which, when absorbed by the pollen grain, extends an extension from the stigma from the style to the ovary. This extension is known as the pollen tube. The pollen tube consists of one tube nucleus and two male gametes, which are non-motile. Non-motile means that cannot move on their own. This is the placenta, the funicle, and the nucellus, ovule, the inner and the outer integument. Now let's take a look in the anatropous ovule. This pollen tube, which enters through the cell, has to go into the embryo sac. While it has to go into the embryo sac, it has three ways wherein he can enter the embryo sac. The pollen tube, the first one is known as sporogamy, wherein the pollen tube enters from the micropylar end through the synergids into the embryo sac. I repeat, from the micropylar end through the synergids into the embryo sac, and it is known as sporogamy. The second one is known as chalazogamy, where the pollen tube enters from the chalazal end through the synergids into the embryo sac. From the chalazal end through the synergids into the embryo sac, and this is known as chalazogamy. The third way is known as mesogamy, wherein the pollen tube enters through the inner and the outer integuments through the synergids into the embryo sac. From the outer and the inner integument, from the synergids into the embryo sac, and this is known as mesogamy. This is the structure of the embryo sac, where the pollen tube has reached near it and it has to enter the embryo sac for further fertilization. This is the secondary nucleus. The two polar nuclei which were seen behind have fused, and the structure formed is known as secondary nucleus. Now when this pollen tube enters the embryo sac from any one of the synergids, it absorbs the contents of the synergids and destroys the synergids and simultaneously bursts open, releasing the two male gametes into the embryo sac. One from any one of the two male gametes fuses with the secondary nucleus, and the second one fuses with the male gamete. The one which fuses with the secondary nucleus by the process of triple fusion is known as primary endosperm nucleus, which is triploid. And the second one, which fuses with the female gamete by the process of syngamy, is known as zygote, which is diploid. Why is it triploid? Just because the secondary nucleus is diploid and the male gamete is haploid, therefore it is triploid. The entire space is known as the central cell. After fusion, this central cell is known as primary endosperm cell. So therefore the entire process of transport of non-motile male gametes from the pollen tube to the female gamete is known as siphonogamy. Thank you.
Fertilization event. As we saw during double fertilization in triple fusion, a triploid primary endosperm nucleus was formed, and its cell is known as primary endosperm cell, and in this cell we have a diploid zygote. So in post-fertilization, the PEC and the PEN forms the endosperm, which is a nutritive tissue, and the zygote forms the embryo. So today we went through the introduction of reproduction in plants, male reproduction in plants, female reproduction in plants, double fertilization, post-fertilization. Hope you enjoyed watching us. Thank you for watching. Peace out.